Hello, everyone. Oh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to AEC Unplugged. We're doing it. We are on episode 8, and honestly, it has gone by so fast. We have talked about wellness. We've talked about um, project management. We've talked about AI. We've talked about so many things: emails, marketing leadership, teaming. We've had so many great episodes, and I hope that if you haven't seen any of them, make sure to go to the SMPS YouTube and rewatch them. You can listen to them like a podcast or something. Just listen in. I always have very interesting expressions, so feel free to look at the video too. That's always fun. But we have had such great guests. So special thanks to all of the guests that have joined during this great season 1. Um, if you're watching live, tell me where you are in the world. We love to see where everybody's coming from. I am coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. So you will always hear my Southern drawl every once in a while. So that's that. But thank you so much for joining. We have some great programming. Before we get started in this episode about volunteerism, I want to talk about some programming that we have at SMPS right now. The biggest one of all is Amplify AEC, which is coming up in less than 14 days, 13 days. We're right in the thick of it all here at SMPS HQ. And by the way, I am did I say myself? Did I introduce myself? My name is Danielle Gray. I serve as the Director of Content and Knowledge Resources at SMPS HQ. And so as you can see, there's so much going on preparing for this awesome conference. We have got some great keynote speakers. We've got some great breakouts, campfires, pre-con, business development symposiums, round tables. I mean, it's endless. And so if you're on the cusp of trying to decide, just come. Okay. And then also there's always online learning available to you. Yes, we have them live, but if you miss them, you can always watch them on demand. And if you need some CEUs, that's where you can get them. All right, so let's see. Is there any other thing that I need to talk about? I think that's it. Today's episode is going to be about the power of volunteerism. As many of you may know, SMPS HQ is a 501c3, or I should say a nonprofit. I can't speak on that. Antonio, don't hurt me if I said that wrong. But we are a nonprofit. So what that means is volunteerism. We are really driven by and pushed by the volunteers. And so today's episode, we're actually going to have Sarah Hoff, who is the Amplify AEC chair. So welcome, Sarah, to the show.
Hi, thanks for
Hi.
having me.
Yes, thank you. So look, I am excited to talk to you. I have always thought you were just so down to earth and so chill. So I think our vibe is going to be great for this talk today. So thank you for being on. So what I'll start with AEC Unplugged, I always ask this question about how'd you get into the AEC industry? Because I find that most people that are in this industry, specifically in marketing, business development, did not dream of this as a 5-year-old.
That's what I've always wanted. Yeah, playing with my Legos and my Barbies, and I was like,
Yes,
I can't wait
yes.
to be an AEC growth specialist.
Exactly. So tell me about your way into the AEC industry. What was your career journey?
Um, so I am of the age where when I graduated from school, I put my resume up on Craigslist. Um,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I was like, here's my skill set. I can do administration, I can do sales, I can do some marketing, communications, graphic design. Someone please give me a job. This was September, October 2001. So anyone who knows that was a really difficult time in the market in New York City. And within a couple of hours, shockingly, I got an email from who is still my very good friend, April, at Nasser Naquib Architects, who was looking to hire kind of a person of all trades to help
Wow.
support their interior architecture practice. And I went in for an interview, and I was like, "Yep, okay, let's get started." And it's been there ever since. I went from there to another architecture firm that does very high-end museums and residential and education work and some transportation. Then I went from there to an engineering firm where I was there for 14 years. So I went from marketing coordinator to principal. Did some consulting for a while, and now I'm at STO Building Group. So
Wow. Also, it all started from Craigslist.
it all started from Craigslist. Yeah.
See, I have not been let down one time with the ways in which we have found our way to the AEC industry. Mine was with I was in grad school and I had played basketball my whole time, so didn't have any time for internships or anything like that. And I said, "Hey, I need an internship. Do you have anything?" They were like, "Yeah, I think there's this construction company down the street." I said, "Absolutely." Said, "It's paid." I said, "Paid?
Yeah,
They're
paid.
gonna
That's yeah.
find me. I am there." So and have not left.
That's
So
amazing. Well, you've made a really great career out of the that
yeah,
internship that after basketball.
it worked out for me. It worked out for me. So and anybody that's watching, I highly encourage you to um watch all the episodes and discovering how other people have made it into this industry. And I see Jen Newman has said she can't wait to see everybody at Amplify AEC. Yes, Jen, we are going to be in your city, Salt Lake City. It's going to be great. And yes, Sarah is a rock star, and that's why I
Yeah, and
have
Jen
her
knows
here.
Jen knows what Craigslist is, so I appreciate that, Liz.
Exactly,
For anyone
exactly.
who doesn't, I'll tell you about it at the conference.
Yeah, yeah, good, right, exactly.
It
Come
was
to
it was it
Sarah
was
and
very early internet days.
talk to Sarah specifically about Craigslist when you go to Amplify AEC. That'll be a great warm up to talk. But look, I want to talk about this idea of volunteerism. We talked a little bit beforehand about the fact that you're a joiner and you jump in, and so let's like kind of talk about it high level. Why do you think that volunteerism is so important?
I think it's the best avenue for learning.
Mhm.
I think the one thing that I've always appreciated and enjoyed about volunteerism is it's always safe. You know, it's interesting because a lot of times people are like, "Well, I'm not getting paid for this. Why would I do this?" The professional development that you get, you're not getting paid for it, so it's a lot lower risk. You're not you're not feeling as judged. You're not feeling the weight of a day to day expectations. You're able to kind of choose what direction you want to go in and how much you want to commit and how much effort you want to put in. Um, and I think one of the things that I've constantly come across is this fear of people saying, "Oh, I don't really want to take on that job, or I don't want to take on that role or the responsibility." Um, you take it on anyway, but also you can choose how much you want to take on. So volunteering for an hour is better, I think, in my mind, than not at all. Because you gain that experience that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Right. And is there, I mean, because I know there's obviously SMPS and the volunteerism, there's this professional realm. Is there anything special that you would say to the professional? Because I mean, you could go to Habitat for Humanity and those types of things.
I
What's
mean,
the
well, I
difference?
volunteer for everything, so
Yeah. Joiner. That's what you said.
yeah. I mean, as I say that, don't call me right now. Um,
Right.
um, there. Yeah. I mean, I think people should do all types of volunteerism.
Hmm.
But I think volunteering for SMPS specifically, again, it's that professional development piece of it, and it's that peer network. Like you and I have met and known each other for years. If I was not volunteering, that might not have ever happened. And
Right.
I adore our relationship and knowing you and watching your career grow and as well as mine, right? And I can call anybody anywhere in the country and make some connection. It helps me both in my professional life at work, but it helps me in my personal life. The amount of times I just have kind of random questions where I'm like, oh, I think so and so might know the answer to that. And again, it gives me the opportunity to do things that build my professional capacity that I don't do in my day job.
Right.
It's funny enough, I was having a conversation earlier today about board structure with my son's school, with the PTA, because they're having PTA elections. The amount of knowledge that I have on how elections and bylaws work and Robert's Rules of Order, and like, I was like, oh, okay, let's dig into this, and I'll tell everybody here how PTA elections work because it follows the same structure. And not many of us get the opportunity to manage companies, but when you're volunteering for a board for like a local chapter or for a regional conference, you're getting all of that expertise. You're running a business.
I love that. And I think that there's so much to gain from it too. I know, to your point, my first, I guess, within SMPS, because that's like probably most professional, my professional volunteerism. I joined the communications committee, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to be doing.
This is why we're the same. I was also on the communications committee as my
Yeah,
first
see, I
my
was like,
first gig.
yeah, I mean, I think, my friends make fun of me. So you're a personality hire, Danielle. And I was like, you know what? Communications, I can communicate, I can talk to people. But obviously those that are a part of the communications committee know that is not just the only thing that you're doing, by the way. But I was learning how to structure emails in a different way. That wasn't my task at work, and I learned so much from it. So and if you're watching, share in the chat what you have learned and what you've taken away from volunteerism. I would love to hear what that looks like for you. So let's talk about your first experience. Let's say professional experience
Professional
of
experience, yeah.
Yeah. What was it like? What did you gain from it? What did you learn? What was that like?
I mean, my first professional, like job-oriented, career-oriented volunteer is really with SMPS.
Hmm.
I joined the special events committee first, and just got to meet people. Had a little bit of moments of like, what have I gotten myself into? I didn't even know that there was a career path in this industry. I didn't know what professional services marketing was, and having the access to be like, hey, I just started doing this job and I have no idea what I'm doing, but 100 plus like-minded people of like, hey, I just started this job and I don't know what I'm doing, and someone tell us what we're doing. It was great, and I mean, the special events committee was easy because I like to enjoy myself, so I was like, all right, I can plan parties.
I can do events.
Yeah, and then through our New York chapter's mentorship program, my mentor suggested that I join the board. So I said, yeah, I'm interested. So of course she nominated me, and that was that. And I've been doing it ever since, and it's been fantastic.
That's
Um,
awesome. And I think being able to join at different levels. I think sometimes people can be all in or not at all, and there's so many different ways to volunteer. Can you share the different ways that like you've seen within SMPS, but just in general? Like I know that there's like, people can help with the award submissions, like in
oh yeah, I mean, I can
judging.
tell you, I've volunteered for literally everything again. So
Okay, yes, yeah, yeah.
so yeah,
Please
I can do a
share
whole
all the
rundown.
different ways.
Yeah, I mean, if at the local chapter level, you can volunteer for one event. You don't have to necessarily be on the committee or be the chair of the committee on the board. You can pitch in. One thing that I have found is that's a really good way to get newer people involved. Just say, hey, look, come to an event, help us hand out name tags, or do the speaker introduction, whatever it is, and just kind of get to meet people. That's something that we use at the New York chapter to kind of bring in new members. This is like a welcoming kind of thing. Um, there are opportunities, there's awards, right? Most of the chapters have marketing awards. People can volunteer to either help put submissions together, or they can volunteer to help plan the events. Again, there's communications, there's financial aspects to things. I find that one to be the one that most of us tend to shy away from a little bit, but really, really good learning to have. At the society level, you can do awards, also help with submissions, help with judging. There's lots of different task forces for pretty much everything. We're mostly volunteer run, right? Regional conferences, there's always people looking for people to help with those. Again, even if it's just setting up or moderating something or even just helping communicate it. We always need people to repost things on social media. If that's what you're doing, that's volunteerism. That's helping support the society as a whole. So
I love, there's so many different ways, so many different, I mean, I'm having a editorial committee call later for the marketers. So there's so many different ways to join and jump in. And, I pride myself on this particular platform being intimate and being very real and authentic. And with that is, I think a really key part of, yes, it'll help your professional development. Yes, you'll learn skills, but it's about community,
yeah.
and,
Oh,
and that's so
absolutely.
big. That's so big. And so, can you speak to like the community part of volunteerism and how you've, I mean, just with
Yeah.
us, we've met each other and we're still here. So,
Yeah, so I have done a lot of building of departments. I've done a lot of doer seller training, a lot of BD coaching and stuff for the various firms that I've worked for, and also for other firms. And again, like sometimes I get paid for it, and sometimes I'm just volunteering my time because I love doing this kind of stuff. And it's volunteering for an association or like an ERG or something that's affiliated with our industry is the one place I always push people towards when they ask how they can be more out there in the community. The reason I do that is because there's always an opportunity, regardless of whether you're introverted or extroverted or ambiverted, whatever your comfort level is, you can always find something to do in a volunteer capacity that brings you to other people. So if you prefer writing than public speaking, there's an opportunity for that. Um, a lot of a lot of people in our industry, the technical folks, are very, very detailed and tend to shy a little bit more away from public speaking and things like that. But they need to network. They need to have their own group. Being part of an association or a board gives them the opportunity to lend their professional skills and have those kind of one-on-one small group debates and guide the future of their industry in a really safe way. Um, yeah, I think the community is so important. We are more and more as technology becomes, I mean, it's here, right? It's not even more prevalent, it's here.
mhm,
um, the conversations around community and mental health are so profound because the more and more we rely on technology, even being on Teams calls more often than being in-person meetings, we continue to isolate ourselves, and even people who are not naturally introverted continue to isolate themselves more and more. Having that community to lean on and to have that safe space with, it's it's unparalleled. You need it. And it's so much harder as you get older. You're not, when you're a kid, I watch my kid on the playground, they socialize on the playground, right?
right.
He socializes in school, he goes to after school activities. But as you get older, you become more conscious and self-aware. You start
Mhm,
drawing boundaries over around your own comfort, what people have access to you. And then as you get older, it just becomes harder and harder to kind of build that rapport with people, right? And volunteering, you're all in the same field, you're all in the same mindset. Whether it's a professional association or it's a volunteer organization, church, whatever it is that people need to feel that sense of community. I mean, we need that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I realized that, especially making the transition to from consulting to being on a team. I was like, whoa, I don't know. Have I been talking to people? Am I being weird? Am I, so
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
important for us, especially after us being inside, and like you said, as we lean more and more on technology, it's important for us to have that human connection. And obviously, there's also the networking component of being comfortable with these people so that you can ask a question, and it doesn't have to be so professional and robotic of like, oh, it's, I think
Right,
that's
yeah.
the
I mean,
cool
we're still gonna
part.
all send the email where we're saying, "Hope things are going well," but,
Right.
by the way, because otherwise,
Right,
it's yeah,
right.
but you just have to do
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. I had a random question for some that I was like, "Oh, I think this person I know knows the answer to this." I just sent her a text message. I was like,
Yeah.
"First, I just wanna say, 'Hi, how you doing?' How are
Right,
things going?
right,
Second, I have a question for you. Can you
right.
answer this for me?" And you need that. You
Yeah.
need I have a group of people that I know through SMPS that we just share, mom memes all day, all night,
I
on
love it.
Instagram. It's like you need that.
Yeah.
We all need an outlet of some kind, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's say there's someone watching that's like, okay, this sounds interesting. Maybe I should take a stand and try to get out there. Are there any considerations that you would suggest, like before joining or before doing what do they need to kind of assess within their own life before jumping into any volunteering? Or would you say there's anything?
Um, I mean, I think it depends. One
Mhm.
thing that I always encourage new members to the for the New York chapter at least, is feel free to attend committee meetings or board meetings or any kind of gathering like that, not like the networking events, but more kind of the operational kind of things that happen. But don't feel like you're making that commitment because you went to that meeting.
Right.
um, you can go to a couple different committee meetings and feel like which one is the best fit for me. And I do the same thing like with AIA, or SDA or any other associations. Like I always tell people, I'm like, I've never been to any professional association in our industry where people did not feel welcoming, which I think speaks volumes. And
Mhm.
I've been to a lot. I've been doing BD focused efforts for 15 years. I've been in a lot of rooms,
Mhm.
um, some warmer than others, but
Right.
never did I feel that I couldn't find someone.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. When I go to an event where I have never been there before, the first person I look for is a person with a name tag that reflects that they work for the association or they're another volunteer of some kind, that they're like somehow affiliated, because I know that person is going to help me navigate that room. And I've never once been let down by that. Those are the people to look out for, I think. And we're the people who will answer all your questions. If you're like, what am I doing in this room? I mean, the amount of times like I've had people even, like at like conference or something where somebody goes, I don't know if I'm doing the right job, and I know I don't know you, but you seem really nice. And what am I doing with my life?
I got
And I'm
you.
like, all right. So I'm like, let's do it. Let's get
Right.
lunch. Let's Teams call whatever it needs, and like just let it out.
No, I think that's great. And, there was something that you said that really stuck out to me, which was the networking. We were talking about this networking. And for anybody that is watching, we did have an episode on authentic relationships and building those with Wally, Yolanda, and Troy. So check that out. It was amazing, and they talked about all the different ways that you can approach and go inside of a room. So if you're watching, do that. They'll put that on your watch list. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up and ask you about this big initiative that you decided to join, which is to be the Amplify AEC committee chair. What inspired you to do it? Tell me about your experience overall.
So Education and professional development in our industry is something that I am just really, really passionate about. I I did actually once apply for a job that was very outside of my range of skill set and everything. I did not get it, obviously. But like a learning and development role.
Mhm.
And I'm actually in hindsight, I'm glad that that didn't work out because it gave me an opportunity to find that to scratch that same itch within our industry and with SMPS. So that was great. Um, I love learning, which, I didn't actually really love school growing up. It wasn't something I embraced because I'm not a very structured person
Mhm.
um, in that capacity. But I love seeing the faces when somebody like something clicks for them, where they didn't understand something and now they do, or they walk away and feel like they've gained something, they've been empowered. Personally, I've been to many conferences. The SMPS conferences are my absolute favorite. I've never walked away feeling like I didn't get something. I always feel refreshed, and re-inspired and reinvigorated. And anytime I've ever had a pause of like, what am I doing with my life, right?
Mhm.
Do I want to keep doing this? I, I get that battery recharged. And the thought of being able to give that to others, especially at such a scale, we have over 800 attendees coming to the conference. So I'm like, if I can get if I can get that many people excited,
Yeah,
there's always going to be a couple who might not.
right.
Um, but I mean, it's amazing. And I've had people, I was programs chair 3 years ago, incoming chair last year. I've had maybe 5 or 6 people come up to me that I'd never met before. 2 of them first timers to the conference last year who just said thank you.
Wow.
And I was like, I mean, that's my whole heart.
Right.
I do what I do because if I can make a difference for anybody, even if it's just 5 people,
Mhm.
I have to try.
I thank you so much for sharing that, because that is what I feel from you too, is this passion for education and making sure there's something for everybody that's coming to this conference. All the different tracks, no matter however you are working within the growth of your firm, consultants, everybody. You're just being so thoughtful about that. So thank you so much for your service and your time, because it's not easy, but you're doing it. And I think that the education that's planned for July, this Amplify AEC 2024, is
I'm
gonna
so
rock.
excited about
Yeah,
it. I'm
yeah,
so excited about it.
it's great. So look, we're gonna close with this last question, which is words of wisdom. What would you share with someone watching, something that you want them to keep in mind? It can be about volunteerism or just in general. What's something you would want to shed light on and share with people?
Um, I think I just have to say, don't be afraid. If you're hesitant, just dive in, just do
Yeah.
it. A lot of people think I'm really extroverted because I come across hopefully I come across with confidence and
Mhm.
thoughtfulness, but it takes a lot of energy for me. I have to really think through all the things in my head. I have like a whole checklist of like, is my hair okay? Am I dressed okay? Am I, am I going to fit in this room? Like
Mm.
whatever all those things are, right? Like that whole, thinking about the demographics of the room. I really over process. And I
Mhm.
have sensory issues too. So then I have to think about like, is the room going to be too loud? Is it going to be, too dark or too bright? Whatever it is. And then like, your whole comfort level and everything. Right. And then sometimes I'm
Right.
like, you know what, just girl, just go do it.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Like get
it.
out of your head and just go
Yeah,
do it. Cause what's the worst that happens? You do it and
right.
you're like, I didn't like that, or I don't like those people or whatever it is. And you just don't do it again.
Right,
Or you
right.
go in and you go, hey, this wasn't so bad. Let me just keep going. And yeah.
I think that's so good. Just do it. Just do it,
Yeah.
and get out of your own way. I think that's really what I'm taking from this. So thank you so much, Sarah, for joining today to
Thank you for
talk
having
about
me.
volunteerism. This is great, and I will see you in Salt Lake City very shortly.
Very, very soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. All right. So look, that's season 1 of AEC Unplugged. If you want to bring back season 2, which we are anyway, but I need to just prove that to the higher powers, right? So tell us about it. Tell me about your experience with AEC Unplugged. Let me know what you want to hear in the next season. But ultimately, get out there, get out of your own way, be yourself, most importantly, and figure out what lights you up and try to find some volunteer opportunities that do that. So, with that, I'm going to close with, if this doesn't help you want to do something different, I hope that it promotes and inspires you to be something different. So, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on season 2 of AEC Unplugged. Thanks.